Okay? Okay? Now, we ask ourselves, is it dealing with a 1 jumper, 2 jumper, 3 jumper, 4 jumper? Okay? A 1 jumper is here. But then we have a 1, 2, 3 jumper here. Okay? Here's how I do it. What do we know about this?
50%.
50%. So I know that I can get rid of all this, and I know that this piece is 50%. What was this piece?
34.
34. So it's a 50 minus a 34. Let me show you. We know this is a 50, and we know this is a 34. So it's going to be a 50 minus the 34. Your answer?
16%.
16%. And if it was relative frequency?
4.6.
You with me?
I did mine just a little different.
That's fine. There's more than one way to look at it. All right, let's look at some more. Same problem. Let's see, I got 2 of them. Let me pull them both up. Oh, crud. Let's see if I can get them both at the same time. We have between 40 and 90 and less than 80. Between 40 and 90 and less than 80. Between 40 and 90 and less than 80. Between 40 and 90 is the first one. And then the next one is less than 80. Between 40 and 90 is the first one, and then less than 80 is the second one. first one. I am going 2 jumps in the left direction, and I'm going 3 jumps in the right direction. So on the left side, that is a 2 jumper. 2 jumper is a 95, and I'm only going on one side, so it's a 95 cut in half. 3 jumps is a 99.7. 99.7 cut in half, because I'm only going one way. A 95 cut in half is a 47.5. A 99.7 cut in half, somebody? What's 99.7 cut in half? 49.25? 85. And when I add those together, what does that give me?
97.35.
There is my answer. That is if they want a percent. If they want a relative frequency, it is 0.9735. Feeling better? All right, for the next one. And y'all, I call these tail problems when they go off to infinity, like when they are using that little tail piece. I always use the 50, like the 50% mark. So this one is going to be a 50%. The other one is a 2. So that's going to be a 95 cut in half. So a 95 cut in half is a 47.5 plus the 50 is going to give me 97.5%, or 0.975 if they want relative frequency. Now, somebody's already asked, how many of these will we see on the test?
How many questions do we have?
Okay, the exam, I've already said, is 33 questions, all multiple choice. And you're going to have all 8 chapters. So you're going to have pretty equivalent of all 8 chapters. So out of chapter 5, so far, we've only done 5.1. I've already told you, select the one that appears to be closest to normal. So I'm going to give you a multiple choice question with one that's left skewed, one that's right skewed, and one that's normal. And I'm going to say, pick the one that's normal. Then I'm going to give you one question that says, apply the 68, 95, 99, 7 rule. So you're going to have one of those on the exam. Okay? You're going to have a bunch of the homework, but you're only going to have one on the exam. Now, everything that we've been doing has been pretty jumps. I've been saying, go from 60 to 140, or go from 80 to 100. I haven't picked out numbers that weren't pretty.
Now it's your fault.
Now we're going to pick out numbers that aren't pretty. Okay? So, everything I've picked has always been 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. It's always been on the pretty jumps. Okay? So, and I'm just going to mention it, but, because we have like 3 minutes left, but we're going to talk more about this now, but if you have a number that's not pretty, so I gave you 2 numbers that were not pretty, 55 and 125. If it's not pretty, there's a formula, and it's on your formula sheet. It says z-score equals data minus mean over standard deviation. So for example, your data is your point. So my data would be 125 minus my mean would be 100. And my standard deviation would be the size of my jump. So, for this first one, it would be data, which is 125, minus mean, which is 100, over standard deviation, which is 20. So that would be 25 over 20. So, if I come here, second quit, it would be 25 over 20, which is telling me that my z-score is 1.25, which tells me that my point is 1.25 jumps away. I went 1 and a little bit of jumps. Now, if I do this one, my z-score is data minus mean over standard deviation. So what is my data? 55 minus, what is my mean? 100, what is my standard deviation? 20. So if I go to my calculator, I'm gonna do data minus mean divided by standard deviation. So here, my z-score is negative 2.25, which means I jumped negative 2 and some change. So I jumped negative 2 and a little bit. So if you're jumping to the right, it's positive. If you're jumping to the left, it's negative. Y'all with me? So next time, we are going to be talking more about ugly jumps. And we're going to be doing more of the 68, 95, 99, 7, but we're going to be doing it in our calculator because it's going to get a lot uglier with the ugly jumps. Okay? We will finish up chapter 5 next time. If you haven't taken your test, which is everybody but Heather, make sure you take it by Thursday. I am opening up all homework. So if you didn't do any old homework, all homework is going to be done. If you haven't done it or need to bring it up, it'll be due by Wednesday of next week. Almost done, y'all.
Let's just get comfortable in here.